Well, hello, Winnie. My birthday girl, Sterling. A kindergartner. Oh my gosh. James started school. Roman started gymnastics. And Cleo started school, toddler school. Okay, well, this was one busy week for everybody. Even the littlest kids started something new, and the big kids did too. Let's see. This is not a dog story. No, it's not Scooby-Doo today. I'm going to pick up the book, and we are going to, at some point, put down the book. I am going to read a book to you. I hope that you will like this book. There's a monster on the cover, and he looks kind of scary. He looks like Dracula. R is in the book. Yes, we will be reading this together. Don't think there's a mom in the book. She would be a she. Moms are she's. Was. Oh, here we go. Happy birthday. Me. It's me. Day. Not will most likely be in this book. Different ways to write before we read this book, and after we will put out a video. And no, this is not a Scooby-Doo story. There might be a dad in the story, but maybe not. Dad in the story. Two, the different ways to write two, like the number and too much. And two is going to read the book. I love you. So, the question is, as always, what? How do you spell what? W-H-A-T. What is this book? It is a story about the monster fighters. Ooh, watch out, monsters about. Well, let's turn and read this together. So, watch out, monsters about. Ooh, there's a bunch of different monsters we're going to learn about in this book. Welcome to Monsterland. Welcome, fellow monster hunters. You join us on a perilous quest to dark and scary land where ghoulish creatures rule, and mortals and minifigures are most unwelcome. You will encounter creatures from your nightmares, werewolves, ghosts, vampires, and worse. But remember, you are not alone. You are part of a band of hardy explorers. Together, we are monster fighters. Who am I? I'm Dr. Rodney Rathbone, of course. I will be your guide on this journey into fear. Do you have your sword ready? That's his sword. Okay, let's go. Who are these guys? Monsters and Moonstones. Our present mission all began with a curious jewel known as the Moonstone. An evil mastermind, Lord Vampire, learned of the jewel's powerful magic. If he can gather 6 Moonstones, he will be able to harness that magic. Do you see Moonstones in this picture? I think there are. Okay, when he harnesses the power, then darkness will cover the whole world. So Lord Vampire mounted a search for every moonstone in the monster world. They are guarded by ghoulish creatures in places few many figures can go. The monster fighters, we must take the moonstone before Lord Vampire can get his undead hands on them. Time is short. The monsters are very close. They're very close to collecting the remaining stones. There's only one hope left. I have assembled a team of heroes who won't let the lights go out without a fight. Major Quentin Steele. Where's Quentin Steele? Quentin Steele is this guy. Major Quentin Steele. Frank Rock. That's this guy. Jack McHammer. That must be this guy. Yep, Jack McHammer. And Ann Lee. It's got to be Ann Lee, only female in here. Together, we are the Monster Fighters. Join us if you dare. Dr. Rodney Rathbone. As you know, I am the leader of this quest to save the world. But who am I? I am an aristocrat, an adventurer, and the great-great-great-great-grandson of the first minifigure ever to step into the monster world. My story began in jolly old London, where I spent my youth fencing and writing journals. Monster fighting is in my blood. I'll never forget my first scrape with a vampire. I lost my leg. Now a mechanical replacement. But nothing will stop me. Riding my midnight bike, I go into adventure. What's this midnight bike? Enter the vampire. Do you have an arch enemy? All adventurers should have one. My arch enemy is none other than Lord Vampire. He rarely leaves his castle, but when he does, he travels in his hearse, driven by Renfield, his zombie driver. Ooh, here's his vehicle. Lord Vampire's funeral hearse is powered by the vampire moonstone. This makes it supernaturally fast. Many times I've given chase in my midnight bike, and I've even grabbed that magic jewel. Trouble is, Lord Vampire keeps stealing it back. That must be what he's grabbing. Major Quentin Steele. But enough about my exploits. Let me tell you about my fellow monster fighter, starting with Major Quentin Steele. He's a big game hunter with a thirst for exotic prey. The Major was born in South Africa and has traveled to every corner of the world. He is an expert at every kind of hunting, tracking, and combat skills. His vehicle of choice is a safari buggy, and he carries a big rifle with a telescopic sight on it. He also has a telescopic eye. The werewolf. When I first met Major Steele, he was searching for a new hunting challenge in places where few other minifigures would dare to go. He said, I'm going to stop the werewolf's tail from wagging. Venturing into the wild wood, he spotted a werewolf moonstone. As he approached, the snarling werewolf leapt out at him. It was an ambush. The Major wanted action now. He had it. So here's what that werewolf looks like. Wow. The werewolf haunts a deep, dark forest of the monster world. His fangs are sharp, and he never cuts his claws. Oh, look at those claws. Monsters and scientists. There are some places that should never be entered alone. The Crazy Scientist Laboratory is one of them. That's why Major Steele and I went together in the Monster Buster. I had heard rumors of what went on in there, brewing potions, creating spells, breeding rats and spiders for ghoulish experiments. But we were unprepared for the true horror. Ooh, what is the true horror? It was a hideous green monster lying on a bench. Massive energy beams were being fired into his head. Suddenly, with a terrifying jolt, it came alive. Ooh, is that the monster? Ooh. Crazy scientist. No experiment is too dangerous or crazy for this crazy wizard. He even turned his own hair white and made it stand on end. That's one crazy scientist. Escape from the lab. The crazy scientist monster came after us with superhuman strength. I did what any expert explorer would do. I grabbed the moonstone and dashed out of there. It was only when I was a mile or two away that I noticed something amiss. Major Steele wasn't with me. I had left him behind. There's the monster. Oh, the monster is held together with pins, safety pins, and tape. In my excitement, I had not noticed that the scientist had captured the Major and locked him in a dungeon. So then I had to go back to free him. No adventure is simple. Look, there's a dungeon he got locked in. Who is this guy? Well, his name is Frank Rock. My fellow adventurer, Frank Rock, is a rebel out for revenge. I found him traveling in search of his missing dog. Oh, there was a dog in this mixture. Okay. His missing dog, who he believed had been stolen by slimy ghouls. Frank had a grudge against swamp monsters. Where was Frank born? I've never found out. All Frank says is he lives on the wild side with a swamp boat. Ooh, that's a swamp boat. Pistol and large glasses. The swamp creature had better head for dry land and hide. Battle in the swamp. Frank knows just where the swamp creature lives, in the stinkiest, slimiest swamp in the whole of Monster World. Frank Rock has sworn not to shave his stubble or remove his sunglasses until he has the moonstone in his yellow hands. When Frank goes into battle, he goes in with all his flick-firing missiles blazing. Frank only rules in combat. He said, break all the rules and walk away from explosions without looking back at them. Frank's not scared of any monster, only of a bad hair day. Ann Lee. She's our female. She's our girl in here. Ann Lee is a magician and a monster basher who's ready for anything. I discovered her while I was looking for a pilot brave enough to fly an aircraft into the monster. She was there in the aircraft hangar secretly practicing her martial arts. She does karate. I don't know where Anne is from or where she's trained, but she can pilot any flying vehicle and is an expert shot with her crossbow. She even uses spare ammo as a hair accessory. Anne carries garlic cloves and wooden stakes at her belt because vampires, that's how you attack a vampire. So, vampires had better go crying back to their coffins. The Mummy's Curse. The Mummy Knight likes to put curses on minifigures, but curses can be slow. Swords are faster. The Mummy Battle. I discovered that the dreaded Mummy King was planning to deliver his precious moonstone to Lord Vampire, so I sent Ann Lee there to intercept his ghostly chariot, which I knew was protected by magical curses and pulled by a creepy skeleton horse. Where's that? Oh, that's a creepy. Oh, he is creepy. Anne swooped down in her steam copter and used her magic skills to break the mummy's protective curse. That's what she used. The moonstone was hers for the taking, if only she could get past the Mummy King himself. Ghost train. Ooh, nice ghostly looking train. Ann Lee and Frank Rock make a daredevil team. Together they went after the moonstone guarded by Ghost and a flying ghost train. Frank took the controls of the aerobatic stunt plane and monster fighter wing, and the fearless Anne swung underneath it on a chain. Steady does it, Annie. Avoid the ghost, and the moonstone will be yours. A ghost. 3 ghouls that haunt the ghost train. They glow in the dark, and they even carry their own weapons. Captured by ghosts. When you are a monster fighter, things often don't go as planned. Ann Lee had been close to capturing the ghost moonstone when the wailing ghost captured her. They locked her in a prison wagon with bars made of bones. Luckily, Frank Rock came to her rescue. He didn't realize that it was really Anne's magical power that opened the prison. Don't tell Frank. He doesn't like to be the hero. Jack McHammer. Jack McHammer is a burly lumberjack. He's built like the trunk of an oak tree and was born in the backwoods of Scotland, or perhaps Canada. Jack never leaves home without his hammer. Jack lost his right arm in a fight with a monster years ago. He's still angry. He drives a hammer truck, which has green missiles and giant hammers. When I met Jack, I knew I had just found a match for the zombies. Ooh, here are the zombies, or sometimes called the living dead. Zombies are living dead, and they're unthinkable, unfeeling, and they smell really, really bad. Zombie Graveyard. One of the trickiest moonstones to capture is located in a spooky, ghoulish graveyard. All around is swirling green mist and strange noises and glowing spiders, and bats. But secrets lurk there. These graves are home to zombies. A zombie bride sleeps beneath the moonstone, and a zombie groom and his undead chauffeur haunt them. This is a mission that Frank McHammer's has Frank McHammer's name on it. Zombies attack! When Jack McHammer goes after a moonstone, he doesn't waste time planning a clever plan of attack. He just walks in and takes it. He may be a plastic hotshot with a might of 10 minifigures, but he's not subtle. Jack gets a moonstone, but he woke up the zombie. They're rising from the grave, and they attack. Luckily, Jack is a minifigure who knows how to fight. Moonstone Crisis. Despite our best efforts, the dastardly Lord Vampire has somehow got hold of all 6 moonstones. As the stars align in the night, Lord Vampire and his vampire bride prepare to unite the moonstone, use their power to eclipse the sun. He has built a machine in his vampire castle to place the moonstones. The castle is well protected and full of traps. Ooh, what is this? Deadly device. Lord Vampire machine sends out a powerful enemy beam that moves the moon right in front of the sun. The Vampire Castle. I had to confront my archenemy. I went with Frank McHammer, knowing that only his strength and my brains would save the day. We arrived at the castle in the dead of night. While I distracted them with my sword and pistol, Frank edged closer to the monster buster. Then he fired the net. Take that, he said. Inside the castle, once inside the castle, Frank and I had to face new terrors. The vampire bride welcomed us with a cocktail, but the green potion didn't agree with me. So, we gave the vampire bride the slip. Frank led her on a wild goose chase around a revolving spiral staircase. Meanwhile, I reached a secret map room at the top of the tall tower. Suddenly, a trapdoor opened beneath my feet, and I fell to the spikes below. Wow, he fell all the way down there. I landed on my metal leg. Hey, this saved me. The final showdown. Finally, Jack and I reached the moonstone machine and removed the moonstones. But a man-bat flew at Jack with his fangs bared. Then a black shadow swooped down towards me. Oh, it was Lord Vampire himself, armed with a black sword. I drew my sword, and we fought. Clash, bang, our swords struck each other. Take that, take that. This time I won. But next time, who knows? Some monsters never die. Lord Vampire will return. You can be sure of that. So that is our story today about the monster fight. Ooh. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that ghoulish story and that you have a wonderful time with all of your schoolwork and your school friends. So, I love you all. Mwah. I hope to see you soon.